Millionaire's hidden heart exposed. How a cleaner-as daughter-as simple Lollipop sparked an incredible transformation in a small town. Emily always looked forward to evenings when her mother came home from work. Those moments, however fleeting, were the treasure she held onto tightly. This particular day, the sky blushed a deep orange as the sun set behind the old train depot, casting long shadows across the cracked pavement of their neighborhood. Emily could tell her mother had worked hard again. Her face, drawn and tired, lit up ever so slightly when Emily handed her a small, colorful lollipop swirled in bright reds and yellows. "What's this, pumpkin?" her mother asked, the weariness momentarily melting around the corners of her eyes. "It's just a little something to make you smile," Emily replied, her heart swelling with love for the woman who sacrificed so much. In that moment, as her mother pressed the candy to her lips, an innocent spark ignited deep within Mr. Thompson, the town's mysterious millionaire. He was walking by, returning from yet another dreary community meeting, and he couldn't help but catch sight of the bond between the two. It flickered like a candle in his heart, reminding him of a love lost long ago. As days turned into weeks, whispers rumbled through the high school halls. Emily's classmates were quick to judge her working-class background, dismissing her accomplishments. Behind every academic achievement was the haunting weight of financial burdens, a constant reminder that the world didn't play fair. Her friends, cheerleaders for her success one day, sneered the next, directly linking her to her mother's cleaning jobs. "You wouldn't understand," they'd half laugh, half sneer whenever she voiced her dreams of college and ambition. Tension brewed at home, too. While Emily fought to rise above their struggles, her mother's dreams began to fray in the harsh light of reality. Arguments broke out over bills, overweighing priorities, survival or ambition. The echo of her mother's deep sighs haunted the air, and on particularly tough nights, when the shadows felt the heaviest, they'd stare at each other, both longing for things to be different yet unaware of how to bridge that chasm. Then, one day, everything changed. Mr. Thompson quietly donated a generous sum to Emily's school to fund new programs. The school buzzed with excitement, but that excitement quickly turned sour. Parents and students alike eyed the donation with envy and suspicion. Why would he give to her school? Someone murmured as Emily walked by. The whispers felt like daggers in her back, reminding her that not all kindness was met without scrutiny. At the town's fundraiser, the truth behind the donation spilled like spilled ink, amplifying the tension that had been simmering. "You think you're better than us?" one enraged voice shouted at Mr. Thompson. Emily felt the room constrict, and her stomach twisted into knots. Standing among her classmates, she gripped the edges of a table, torn between admiration for Mr. Thompson's gesture and the suffocating weight of judgment swirling around her. "Stop!" she found herself yelling, her nerves trembling. "He is just trying to help us." The room fell silent, and every uncertain glance trained on her. Emily faced the chorus of indignation and fear, aware that she was embodying the struggles of her mother, of herself, and of a town divided by privilege and perseverance. Her heart raced, caught in a whirlwind of emotions. "Before we continue, I need to let you know about something important that's happening. YouTube has been making changes to the system, and many people are losing notifications from channels they follow. If you're enjoying the content, hit that bell and mark all notifications so you don't miss the next videos. And if you can drop a like, it really helps me with reach. Seriously, it makes a difference. Oh, let me know in the comments where you're watching from. I'm always curious to know who's on the other side of the screen. Now let's continue. As tension simmered and the confrontation heated, Emily felt a flicker of hope within her. Just when she thought despair might swallow her whole, her mind circled back to the small, sweet act that began this tumult. All those months of watching her mother sweep, scrub, and toil, just for her future. With renewed courage swirling within her, Emily pondered her next steps. Could kindness really offer a bridge over the chasm? Would she find the strength to reclaim her dignity, or would the town's divisions become another wall to break down? Answers hovered just out of reach, leaving Emily in a crucible of uncertainty, ready to ignite change in more ways than she ever imagined. In that tense silence, Emily felt the weight of the entire room pressing down on her shoulders. She glanced around at her classmates, their faces a mixture of confusion and disdain, and then at Mr. Thompson, standing alone amidst the swirling judgments. His normally stoic demeanor seemed a little lost, almost fragile in the face of rash accusations. "Mr. Thompson," she began, her voice soft yet steady, "you're not just a name on a check. You're part of this town. We're all here together." The murmurs rose again, the disbelief rising like steam from boiling water. But Emily pressed on, fueled by the vision she held of a community they could build, not tear apart. "What you did for our school. It matters. It's hope. It's a chance for kids to dream." She could see the flicker of realization in some eyes, but the anger in others remained thick. A mother in the corner, her arms tightly crossed, shouted back, "But he only shows up when it's convenient for him. How is that genuine?" Her heart raced as she countered, "Maybe he is trying to start somewhere. Can't we just listen to the possibility of change instead of clinging to old grudges?" Silence took hold, punctuated by the deep breaths of those who were undecided. Emily, though terrified inside, felt something shift. It was time for a different kind of conversation. "Each of us fights our own battles," she said, looking from familiar face to familiar face. "We all want to be seen, to be valued." She could feel the heat rising in her cheeks as her passion ignited. "I'm not ashamed of my mother's work. She is the heart of this community. We should be lifting each other up instead of tearing each other down." A moment later, just as the tension reached its boiling point, Mr. Thompson stepped forward. His voice, typically soft, carried an unexpected weight. "Emily is right." The room collectively held its breath. "I've made mistakes, staying distant for far too long while trying to help. But I'm here to change." His words hung heavy in the air, resonating through the crowd. Some people softened, others remained doubtful. "Maybe I don't know your struggles, but I want to learn." A murmur of intrigue rippled through the audience. "We can work together," he continued, "to make our town better for everyone." Once again, the weight of the conversation began to shift. Emily's heart soared with cautious hope. This was a chance, not just for herself or for Mr. Thompson, but for the entire town. They could turn suspicion into collaboration, build bridges instead of walls. As the night unfolded, Emily listened to the discussion sparking around her. It felt like a storm had been unleashed, granting everyone a voice, breathing life back into the community that had long stifled itself with jealousy and resentment. But amid the excitement, a nagging worry remained at the back of her mind. What would it take for real change to happen? Could old grievances truly be mended, or would doubt create barriers once more? With dozens of eyes upon her, and the future of her community opening like a book before her, Emily felt the decision she needed to make. She was standing on the brink of transformation not only for herself but for all of them. The echoes of concern and hope buzzed around her, but one thing was certain: the lollipop that had started it all was only the beginning. Could kindness really change lives? Emily wasn't sure, but she could feel determination igniting in her core. As she looked toward Mr. Thompson, ready to solidify the next steps, she knew they had to act quickly. But what if the very act of trying to heal also risked opening old wounds? Would they have the strength to face the past together, or would it all come crashing down again? Emily felt the impending weight of decisions hanging thick in the air as the crowd stirred restlessly. It was clear that the churning emotions needed a focal point. Everyone held a part of the story, yet no one seemed ready to fully embrace its unfolding. "Let us come together," she urged, stepping away from the podium, feeling the chill of raw vulnerability. Let us put our differences aside for just a moment. Her heart raced as each step felt significant, an invitation to bridge the gap. A voice rose from the back, laced with cautious curiosity. What if it's too late? It belonged to Jason, a boy whose aloofness had drawn the ire of many. Emily hadn't expected him to speak up, but she appreciated his bravery. It's never too late, she countered, clenching her fists to suppress the tremble in her hands. What matters is what we do from here on out. For so long, we've been focused on what divides us. Why not shift that focus to our shared dreams? There was a silence, the kind that can consume a room and pull it taut. It was a mix of disbelief and introspection, as if everyone in the audience was weighing their choices. Mr. Thompson stepped in closer, the tension dissipating slightly around him, opening his palms as if to invite collaboration. I've been a stranger in my own town, he admitted, and I'm sorry for that. But I want to change how you all see me. But then came the darts. You can't just waltz in and expect things to change, a voice called out from the corner, its source shrouded in shadows. It was a father, once hopeful, now embittered. We've seen what happens when people don't genuinely care. Emily felt the walls around them rising again. What do we need to show you? Show us the truth. Someone yelled, the layers of animosity unraveling further. Her heart sank. What could they possibly do to earn back that trust? Days flipped through her mind like pages in a book, sharing, caring, small actions that grew into something grand. We can start small. Maybe we create an event where we get together. That's not enough. The crowd murmured, frustration bubbling over. Then she had it. How about we spotlight our community? Families share stories of how we've supported each other through hard times. Not just the bad, but the good our town does. Let us make a night of it. There were sparkles of interest, but the air was still thick with skepticism. What if it doesn't work? A girl in the front, her voice shaking, echoed the concern that enveloped them all. What if it does? Emily shot back, surprising even herself with the passion igniting her words. We have everything to gain by showing our true selves. What if our stories bring us together? The buzz of conversation rolled like thunderclouds gathering for a storm. Was it a hopeful rain or an impending downpour of uncertainty? Mr. Thompson joined her side, now looking purposeful. Let us meet next week, everyone. Let us begin to plan this event together. We can face our fears and doubts head-on. A tentative agreement rippled through the room. Emily felt relief washing over her, as cautious hands began rising, expressing willingness to join in the effort. But as the murmurs grew, tugging at her hope, a sharper thought sliced through it all. Would they truly be able to look past their baggage? Would buried resentment weigh them down or allow for flight? Emily held her breath. This was only the first step, and she feared the shadows lurking just out of sight. Could old wounds be transformed into something beautiful? Or would the past threaten to overtake their newfound aspirations? The tension hung in the air, begging for resolution as she prepared for whatever came next. The next week came fast, buzzing with energy and apprehension. Emily woke up that morning feeling a cocktail of excitement and dread. She kept replaying the promise they made in her head, the ideas swirling like confetti in a parade. But behind the hopeful thoughts, doubt lingered like an uninvited guest. Arriving at the makeshift planning hub, a worn-down community center that seemed to embody the town spirit, Emily wasn't sure what to expect. The scent of coffee greeted her as she opened the door. Inside, a small group gathered around tables, their faces lit by flickering fluorescent lights and a mix of curiosity and nervousness. "Hey, Emily," Jason called out, breaking the silence. He looked less guarded, like he was shedding layers from the week before, and his posture betrayed a spark of determination. "I'm here to see what we can do to make this work." Seeing him brought a swell of hope. "Thanks for coming," she replied, her voice steadying. She caught a glimpse of Mr. Thompson across the room, his hesitant smile radiating resolve. It felt like they were all stepping onto a tightrope together, each movement measured and careful. Slowly, more people filtered in. The girl from the meeting, Leah, shuffled forward as her friend nudged her. "I think we might have some stories to share," she whispered, her eyes darting around as she revealed a stack of papers cradled in her arms, like a treasure trove. "Perfect. That's where we start," Emily encouraged, excitement bubbling up inside her. "Let us write down our stories and dreams. Let us make them visible." As they began to share, Emily listened intently. Each story carried its weight: a grandmother who helped neighbors, a couple who opened their doors during the worst storm, a local teen who organized a soup kitchen. They weren't just stories. They were threads weaving a tapestry of hope, community, and resilience. But then, just as momentum was building, a voice broke through. It was Rick, a vocal skeptic from the earlier meeting. "What good is this gonna do? Talking doesn't change the reality we live in." He crossed his arms, imposing shadows across the room. Emily held her breath, feeling tension snap across the gathering. "Rick, I understand your frustration. But these stories matter. They remind us of who we can be. We're not just who we were. We have a choice now." His face softened slightly. Doubt flickered in his eyes. A few others nodded, pulling the weight of the collective energy toward a tipping point. "Maybe we've been too focused on our resentments," a woman chimed in. "It's time to remember what connects us." The idea hung in the room, igniting sparks of enthusiasm. They worked relentlessly, piecing together what their stories meant, how they'd share them, and how they'd reach the rest of the community. Ideas flew around like sparks from a fire, illuminating their faces. Yet, beneath the excitement, Emily's mind raced with questions. Would the stories truly bring about change? Was their vulnerability worth it, or was it just a game? As the first glimmers of a plan materialized, she felt an overwhelming surge of purpose. She knew this was just the beginning, but doubts whispered in her mind. Could their fragile hopes withstand the storm brewing on the horizon? They wrapped up the meeting, buzzing with a mix of exhilaration and uncertainty. As everyone filed out, Emily lingered, staring at the taped-up notes, filled with personal truths. This was more than an event, it was a leap of faith. But what if the leap took them not to safety, but into the chasm of past wounds? Would the stories strengthen their bonds or tear them apart? Emily took a deep breath, the weight of anticipation heavy in her chest. Emily took a moment to let the silence settle around her. The rattle of chairs and soft murmurings faded as the last few attendees shuffled out. Jason hung back, his brow knit in deep thought. "Do you really think we can change anything?" he asked, his voice low. Emily turned to him, her heart rate quickening. "I believe we can. It's about starting somewhere. If we can get people talking, maybe, just maybe." Her voice trailed off, uncertainty creeping back in. "Yeah, but what if nobody cares?" he pressed. "What if we're just shouting into a void?" Emily met his gaze, determination hardening her resolve. "We can't let fear stop us. This might be the push our town needs." He nodded slowly, though his expression still held a hint of doubt. "I'll trust you, Emily. You always have that spark. Just let us not expect too much too soon, all right? Deal?" She smiled, grateful for his encouragement. As they stepped outside, the setting sun cast a warm hue over the town, mingling with the cool evening air. It felt like a fresh start despite the weight still lingering in her chest. They made their way home, with each step echoing the potential for change. Over the next few days, Emily found herself enveloped in her thoughts, mapping out the plan. The team needed a place to showcase their stories, an event that would resonate. She envisioned an open mic night, where they could share tales of triumph and hardship. It was raw and authentic, a way for voices to be heard, But doubt bubbled again. Would anyone come? She jotted down ideas, scribbling hastily until her fingers ached. Each concept danced between optimism and fear. Maybe they could invite local artists. Music could break the barriers. On a rainy Thursday afternoon, Emily met Leah at their favorite diner. The smell of fresh coffee lingered, cutting through the gloom outside. "I've been thinking about our stories," Leah said, her fingers tapping the edge of a chipped mug. "What if we have an art corner too? To represent the stories visually." "Great idea." Emily beamed, feeling the energy swell. "We could have a wall where people could paint or draw. Something tangible, you know?" Leah's eyes sparkled. "Yes. It'll make it more inviting. We want people to feel like they can be part of this." As they brainstormed, she could see Leah becoming more confident. The meeting had sparked something in both of them, lighting fires of creativity that they hadn't realized were there. But the doubts continued to creep back. "Do you think people will open up?" Emily asked, her voice suddenly quiet. "I mean, really?" "I think they will eventually," Leah replied gently. "But change doesn't happen overnight. We just have to create the space." Just then, the door swung open, bringing in a gust of cold wind and a figure wrapped in a heavy coat. It was Rick. He hesitated, looking like he might turn back, but then approached their table. "I heard you guys are planning something," he said, his voice gruff but curious. "Yes," Emily said, a pulse of excitement rushing through her. "We're working on an event to share our stories. Want to help?" He took a moment, visibly weighing the offer. "I'll think about it." Then, looking Emily straight in the eye, he added, "Maybe we really can do something." As Rick walked out, Leah leaned in, her eyes wide with disbelief. "Did that just happen?" "I think so," Emily replied, her heart racing. "If he joins us, that could be huge." But just as the thrill of possibility washed over them, a sharp crack of thunder rolled outside, shaking the diner. Emily stared out the window, clouds swirling ominously. Suddenly, the thought of those past wounds came rushing back. Could a storm disrupt everything they hoped to build? Would challenges tear them apart before they could even begin? As the rain began to pour, Emily's mind raced. How could they possibly weather this storm, both literally and figuratively? She could feel the world shifting around her, the weight of what lay ahead heavy on her heart. What would happen if they began to tell their truths, and the response wasn't what they hoped? The storm raged outside, the rain-slicked streets glistening like reflections of Emily's racing thoughts. Each drop felt like another unspoken worry pounding against her mind. She gripped the edge of the table, trying to focus on Leah's excited chatter about art supplies, but her heart was heavy with doubt. "Emily? You okay?" Leah's voice cut through the chaos in her head. "Yeah, just thinking," Emily replied, forcing a smile. They wrapped up their brainstorming session and headed home, the rain hammering rhythmically around them. Each splash of water seemed to echo their fears. What if nobody came? What if this was all just a waste of effort? Back in her small apartment, Emily sat down at her kitchen table, stacks of papers scattered around her, feverish notes about stories to be shared, logistics for the open mic, ideas for art installations. She sighed, eyes honing in on one page. It was a list of names, a collection of people she thought might connect with her vision, friends, neighbors, even strangers. She grabbed her phone and scrolled through the contacts, halting on Jason's name. He was supportive but skeptical. Did she really want to impose her dreams on him? With a deep breath, she tapped out a message, inviting him to meet tomorrow and share the latest ideas. She needed someone's reassurance. The morning dawned gray and somber, and as Emily prepared for the meeting, she felt a sense of urgency. She wanted to ignite a spark, to get the community involved, but the specter of doubt loomed over her like the clouds outside. The diner, Jason arrived, his expression a mixture of curiosity and concern. "Hey, how is it coming along?" he asked, sliding into the booth across from her. Emily took a moment, unsure of where to start. "I want this open mic to be a celebration of all of us. I mean, not just sharing our hardships, but our strengths too. I was thinking we could blend music, or make it a festival of voices." His brow furrowed slightly. "That sounds amazing," he replied slowly. "But are you sure it's the right time? The storm last night didn't help, and there's a heaviness in the air that feels like it's stifling our spirits." Emily finished for him. She shook her head, pushing back the darkness. "We can't wait for the perfect moment. We have to create it ourselves." She laid out her ideas, her passion pouring out as she spoke. The tension in Jason's shoulders eased, and he began to nod, a smile creeping on his face. "You're right. Maybe this is just the push we need," he agreed, newfound enthusiasm shining in his eyes. After discussing details and potential participants, Emily felt a thrill of hope rising within her. Perhaps they could invite local organizations to get involved, provide support for people to express themselves in ways that matter. As they planned, Jason's phone buzzed. He pulled it out and read a message, darkening. "I just got some news," he said, his voice tense. "My mom's been in the hospital. She might need more help than we thought." Emily's heart twisted. "I'm so sorry, Jason. Do you want to talk about it?" He hesitated, glancing at her with vulnerable eyes. "I didn't want to add more weight to this. I wanted to be here for you." "Your concerns are just as important," she said softly. "We can't help others until we help ourselves, right? Talk to me." As he began to open up, Emily felt a wave of connection wash over them. In that moment, she understood. It wasn't merely about hosting an event. It was about nurturing a community. A community that held each other up through storms, both literal and metaphorical. "Let us do this together," she suggested. "Let us find ways to include everyone's stories. We can show that we're stronger when we share our struggles." Jason nodded, a glimmer of resolve returning. "Yeah, let us make it happen." As they walked out of the diner, Emily felt lighter, buoyed by his commitment. But deep down, she sensed the challenges still ahead. Would they be able to rally others, to truly bring people together to share their stories? And what if those shared stories could lead to unexpected revelations? Emily's heart raced at the possibilities. The storm had passed, but would they be prepared for the sparks it might ignite? The morning light struggled to pierce the remnants of the storm, casting a soft glow over the damp streets. Emily sat in her favorite coffee shop, the familiar scent of roasted beans swirling around her like a comforting blanket. She opened her laptop, trying to focus on the myriad of details for the open mic, but her mind wandered. Jason's heavy news hung in the air, a thick cloud over her budding excitement. As the minutes ticked by, she typed and deleted lines of text, frustration mounting. "Come on, Emily," she whispered to herself. "You can do this." Just then, the bell above the door jingled, breaking her reverie. It was Leah, bounding in with an energy that was infectious. "Hey! You won't believe what I found!" Leah exclaimed, waving a colorful flyer in the air. "There's a local art festival coming up, and they're looking for collaborations. We need to get involved. Think of the exposure." Emily struggled to contain her excitement. "That sounds incredible." But what?" Leah asked, her bright eyes scanning Emily's face. "I just don't know if right now is the best time." With everything happening, and Jason's mom, Emily trailed off, the words sticking in her throat. Leah's expression softened. "I get it," she said, reaching across the table to squeeze Emily's hand. "But we can't let fear hold us back. This is an opportunity. We could set up our own booth, showcase local talent, and tie it into our open mic night. The community could see how much strength and creativity we have together." Emily felt a flicker of hope at Leah's words. Maybe this was the nudge she needed to push forward. You might be onto something, she admitted. A smile broke across her face as she imagined their colorful booth, the sounds of laughter and music surrounding them. Before she could think too much about it, she dove into the details with Leah. They mapped out ideas for interactive art installations, a mural where participants could add their own strokes of color, and a space to share stories, both spoken and visual. The enthusiasm bubbled as they brainstormed. Leah's laughter filled the air, chasing away Emily's lingering doubt. It felt good, like stepping back into the sunlight after a long dark storm. She could picture the people they'd reach, the connections that would be made. Just then, Emily's phone buzzed with a message from Jason. "Can we meet later? I need to talk." The weight of his words grounded her again. "Leah, I think I need to talk to Jason first. I don't want to dive into this festival without fully supporting him first." "Of course. Just don't forget about the excitement we just built," Leah replied with a hopeful smile. "Let him know we might have a chance to expand our vision for the open mic." "Will do," Emily said, the warmth of Leah's encouragement following her as she stepped outside. The sun peeked through the clouds, a glimmer of promise in the day ahead. When she met Jason at a nearby park, the distant sounds of children laughing reminded her of the simple joys people often overlooked. She took a deep breath, determined to balance the conversation between their personal struggles and shared dreams. As Jason leaned against a tree, Emily noticed the strain etched on his face, the worried lines deepening. "Hey, how are you doing?" she asked gently, her heart aching for him. "Not great," he admitted, his voice low. "There's a chance they may have to do surgery. I have to make some tough decisions." The emotions swirling around them felt heavier than the storm clouds from the day before. "I'm really sorry," Emily said, stepping closer. "You don't have to go through this alone, you know. I'm here for you." "I appreciate that really," he said, meeting her eyes. "I've been thinking about how worried I've been, and suddenly your project feels trivial." Emily shook her head. "It's not trivial. It matters. It's what we do. As a community, it binds us. But it also means we lean on each other, sharing these stories." And just like that, she realized she didn't have to choose between supporting Jason and fostering their community vision. They could intertwine. "Maybe we can weave your story into the event," Emily suggested. "We could dedicate a section to stories of strength through adversity. It would honor what you're going through, while also uplifting others." Jason looked at her, surprise flickering in his eyes. "You really think that could work?" "Absolutely," she replied, excitement sparking momentum between them. "We can show what community truly means." As they left the park, Emily felt a sense of unity growing between them, a budding hope that their dreams, no matter how paired with challenges, could still shine. Would they be able to blend these powerful experiences into something transformative for others? Perhaps the storm had passed, but they were now looking toward a bright horizon where every shared story could illuminate the darkest paths. What stories would emerge next, and how would they shape their community efforts? Emily and Jason walked side by side in the park, the sun casting a warm glow over them. A light breeze rustled the leaves overhead, creating a symphony of nature that felt almost like a promise. They fell into easy conversation, mapping out ideas for the festival and the open mic night. Each thought was like a thread, weaving a tapestry of hope, laughter, and stories yet to be told. "How about we have a section just for spoken word?" Emily suggested, her heart racing with newfound passion. "We could invite local poets to share their stories of struggle and triumph. It might resonate with those who are going through something similar." Jason nodded, a flicker of determination returning to his eyes. "And we could also set up a small area for art therapy. Let people express their feelings through painting. It could be a release for many." Emily smiled, feeling a sense of pride in their collaboration. Look at us, dreaming big. But I want to make sure you're okay with all of this too. Are you really ready for it? He took a deep breath, gazing at the children playing nearby. The laughter tugged at something deep in his heart. I want to be, he admitted, vulnerability seeping into his tone. Working on something real can be a distraction from the heavy stuff, and it might help me find a little clarity. Her heart swelled at his words. Then let us do it, Jason. Let us create something that people will remember, something that brings people together. In that moment, the world around them faded. They were no longer just two people trapped in their own experiences, but co-creators of something meaningful. Emily felt empowered, as if waves of determination surged through her veins. Later that evening, as Emily lay in bed, excitement battled with worry. How would the community respond to their plans? She wanted to reach out, but doubts crept in. What if things didn't turn out as beautifully as they imagined? What if Jason's situation worsened, leaving him unable to participate fully? She tossed and turned, contemplating the long journey ahead. The balance of supporting Jason and pushing forward with their community aspirations felt like walking a tightrope. As she drifted into an uneasy sleep, holding her phone tightly, she prayed for strength and clarity. The next morning, Emily woke with a determination that surprised her. She had a plan and, with Jason's strength to inspire her, she felt fueled to share it with Leah. Over coffee the next day, she eagerly discussed their ideas with Leah, who listened with growing excitement. This is incredible, Emily. You're already making waves. We can start promoting it right away. Create a social media page and drum up interest. The caffeine coursing through her felt like a catalyst. Yes. And we should start reaching out to local artists and poets. We can hold informal meetings to discuss how they want to get involved. Leah's eyes sparkled. I just know this is going to be a hit. People around here need a chance to express themselves, especially after the last few months. Just as they were planning their next steps, Emily's phone buzzed again, this time with a text from Jason. Can we meet today? I need your help with something important. Suddenly, a swirl of emotions filled her heart. What did he mean by important? Had something changed? Leah noticed her hesitation. Hey, what's up? You look like you've seen a ghost. Emily bit her lip, contemplating whether to share her concerns. It's Jason. He wants to meet again today. Maybe he is ready to dive deeper into the project? Leah suggested, but uncertainty flickered in Emily's eyes. I just hope it's not bad news, Emily whispered. Whatever it is, you'll handle it together, Leah reassured her, squeezing Emily's hand. Remember, you're a team. With Leah bolstering her confidence, Emily texted Jason back. Sure, where do you want to meet? As she finished her coffee, the knot in her stomach twisted tighter. What was Jason really thinking? Would it be good? Bad? Just as she felt ready to confront the answer, a wave of determination surged through her. It was time to face whatever came next. What decision would Jason make, and how would it alter the trajectory of their plans? Emily arrived at the cafe, her heart racing. The familiar smell of roasted coffee beans and baked goods usually brought her comfort, but today it felt like a looming cloud. She spotted Jason at a corner table, his gaze focused on the window, lost in thought. Every fiber of her being wanted to stride over and call out to him, but a quiet apprehension held her back. As she approached, Jason looked up, and for a moment, his expression was unreadable. Was it relief? Anxiety? She couldn't tell. Hey, he said softly, offering a small smile that didn't quite reach his eyes. Hey, she replied, her voice barely above a whisper. She slid into the chair across from him, trying to read the tension between them. What is going on? He sighed, running a hand through his hair. I've been thinking about the festival, about everything. I really want to be a part of it, but... He hesitated, His brows furrowed. There are things I'm dealing with that I can't ignore. It's affecting me more than I thought it would. Concern washed over her. What do you mean? Jason, if you need to talk, I'm here for you. He took a deep breath, and Emily could see the battle within him. It's just my past. I thought I could push through it. But something happened last night, something that brought everything back. Her heart skipped. What happened? Remember the support group I promised to attend? I went. I thought it would help, but instead, I listened to everyone share their stories and realized how far I still have to go. It hit harder than I expected. He looked down, fiddling with the edge of the table. I don't want to bring that into our project, into what we're trying to build. Honey, it's okay to feel that way, she reassured him gently. This festival is about more than just celebrating. It's about healing. If we're going to create something real, we have to acknowledge where we're starting from. Jason's eyes flicked up to meet hers, searching for something in her expression. But what if I fail? What if I can't handle it? Emily reached across the table, taking his hand in hers. A jolt of warmth surged between them, grounding her. You want to be alone. I'll be by your side. We're in this together, remember? You're not just a participant. You're co-creating something beautiful. And part of that is facing our struggles. He blinked, emotions flickering in his gaze. I don't want to hold you back. And I don't want to lose you, she said softly. You're part of this visionary dream we're building. Your strength can inspire others. The tension shifted. Jason's shoulders eased, a glimmer of hope creeping back into his eyes. I guess you're right. I'm scared. What if I can't keep it together? Then we face it together. We start small. Maybe share our experiences in a way that could help others, like how you felt in the group. It might make this whole thing even more powerful. He nodded slowly, a spark igniting in him. You really think so? Absolutely. Let your story guide us. Suddenly, determination ignited within him. Okay. Let us do this. Let us show people they're not alone in their battles. The door swung open, letting in a rush of cool air as a group of people entered, laughter filling the room. Jason's moment of resolve was palpable as he began to smile, and Emily felt the wind shift in their favor. Just as they were about to dive deeper into their plans, Jason's phone buzzed. He glanced down at the screen, his expression changing once more. It's my mom, he said, his voice suddenly laced with uncertainty. She is asking to meet up. I haven't seen her in a long time. Emily's heart dropped. Is that a good idea? I'm not sure. It might open old wounds, but maybe it's what I need. The weight of the moment hung heavy between them. Could this be the moment that would push Jason further into his past, or would it draw him closer to healing? Only you can decide, Emily said softly, wondering what the outcome would mean for him and for them. What if seeing his mother stirred up deeper struggles he didn't anticipate? And more importantly, would it break the newfound bond they were forging? The weight of uncertainty hung heavily over them both. Jason's decision to meet with his mother felt monumental, a potential crossroads. Would it pull him back into the shadows of the past or propel him further along the path of healing? Do you want me to come with you? Emily asked, her voice steady yet tinged with concern. I can be there if you need support. He paused, considering her offer. Maybe it would help to have someone with me, someone to hold on to if things turn rocky. But I also think I need to confront this on my own, too. Emily felt a pang of worry, but sensed the determination rising within him. Then do it for yourself first. If you need me, I'll be right here. The tension shifted as they both exchanged hopeful glances filled with determination. That was what their journey was about, after all. Confronting fears, embracing vulnerability, and lifting each other up along the way. After their conversation, Emily threw herself into finalizing the plans for the festival. The idea of seeing the community come together, sharing stories, and expressing themselves, fueled her passion. Each person they invited, each flyer they created, felt like planting a seed of hope in fertile ground. She could feel a buzz of excitement growing. On the day of the festival, the sun emerged bright and cheery, casting a golden glow over the town square. People started to fill in, laughter and chatter mingling in the air. Emily stood near the makeshift stage, her heart a turbulent mix of excitement and anxiety. "Are you ready for this?" Jason appeared beside her, a glimmer of nervous energy in his eyes. "Absolutely." She grinned. "Are you?" He took a deep breath and nodded. "Yeah. I know what I want to say now." As the event started, the atmosphere transformed. Colorful banners waved gently in the breeze, and laughter echoed as families mingled and enjoyed the art displays. Emily glanced out over the crowd, witnessing a melting pot of people, classmates, parents, even those whom Emily had once thought would never show support. One by one, local talent stepped up to share their stories, each voice rising above the others like a note in an uplifting melody. The energetic rhythm of art, music, and spoken word flooded the air. Each story was raw and beautiful, pulling at heartstrings, igniting emotions the same struggles Emily, Jason, and the community had with their pasts. When it was Jason's turn to speak, Emily's stomach twisted with anticipation. He stepped up to the microphone, his hands slightly shaking. But as he looked out into the crowd, he found Emily's reassuring gaze, and that fear transformed into strength. "I'm here today to share not just my struggle, but also my hope," Jason started, his voice steady now. "I've faced my own battles, and I think we all have. But in this room, we have something powerful, community." He spoke about the support group, the pain of distance from his mother, and how vulnerability was no weakness. As each word fell from his lips, the atmosphere pulsated with acceptance and understanding. Slowly, the crowd started to lean in, nodding in resonance with his story. Emily felt tears prickling her eyes, a testament to the connection blooming in the square. His act of kindness sharing his fears brought people together in a way that was undeniably transformative. By the end of the festival, cheers erupted, and a sense of unity washed over everyone present. Emily stood close to Jason, both of them illuminated by joy. As people began to file out, exchanging smiles and heartfelt embraces, it became clear change was happening. They were breaking down walls, building bridges, and creating an environment where kindness was nurtured, where stories mattered. "Thank you for believing in me," Jason whispered to Emily, pulling her into a warm embrace. She felt the weight of sorrow melting away. What blossomed instead was hope. "Thank you for sharing your truth," she replied, a radiant smile spreading across her face. "We did this together. Just picture everything we can build moving forward." As they stepped back to survey the now vibrant town square filled with laughter and connection, Emily knew in her heart that the Lollipop's simple act of love had unleashed something powerful. It had started a movement not just for the two of them, but for the entire community that once felt so divided. And as they looked out, a thought sparked in Emily's mind. They'd paved the way for something greater. This festival was only the beginning. "Let us keep it going," she declared, her spirit high. "Absolutely," Jason agreed, his eyes shining with determination. This was just a glimpse. We have so many stories left to tell. Together, they turned back toward their friends and families, ready to step into the next chapter of their lives, filled with hope and an unyielding spirit. This was the moment they transformed their past into a thriving future, and this was just the start. If you're inspired by this incredible journey and want to witness more such transformative stories, you need to subscribe immediately to the channel. Don't miss out on our next exclusive tales that will tug at your heartstrings. Hit that like button right now to feed the algorithm and help us grow. Your support matters. Comment below with your reactions and feelings about this ending. Let us keep the conversation going. And don't wait not even one more second to share this video with at least 5 friends who need to see this transformation. Let us spread the hope.